Hello everyone, welcome to Bards and Books. I'm Usman, and today we are doing a wrap-up for April as well as a May TBR. So, the books I read in April started with The Hybrid Helix. I read the first 3 books in that series. Fantastic. The author, J.C.M. Burns, also a booktuber, did a marvelous job there. It's a really gripping superhero sci-fi romp, and I do have a full review filmed for those 3 books already, which I will post soon, but those books are great. Wistful Ascending, the first one, I gave 5 stars. Magnificent opening. Return of the Griffin, book 2, I gave 4 stars. I still enjoyed it a lot. And this actually has a lot of elements to make it people's favorites in the series. For me, I gave it 4 stars. There were just some aspects in there, some just tedious moments, I guess you can say. That's just a personal thing, but still a phenomenal entry. And then book 3, Blood Reunion, which is my favorite of them by far. It really gets nice and dark here, and we delve into the lore of this universe and the history of all these like ancient species and whatnot. So it was phenomenal. 5 stars for that book. And like I said, I will be putting out a full review for all 3 of those books soon. Now, the 4th book I read in April was Dragons of Spring Dawning, which is part of a read-along hosted by Chris at A Fictional Escapist. This is the 3rd book in the trilogy, and I gotta say, it was a decent wrap-up. I enjoyed it. It was a lot slower paced than the other books, but it was really cool because we got to see more of the enemy's perspective, so we got more villain POVs here, and a lot more twists that, you know, we really weren't expecting. And I really liked the relationships and how they took the turn that they did. But I will be putting out a full review for this trilogy as well, so I'll relay my full thoughts there. So that was book 4, and book 5. The final book that I'm still reading in April, is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. There's a lot to talk about with this book. I haven't even finished it yet. I'm only about halfway, but 1, it's really not what I expected, but 2, I'm still enjoying it a lot. So I have some thoughts, and I will be posting a review for this book. It's inevitable. There's a lot that I have to talk about here, and some really cool stuff going on. Like I said, not at all what I expected, but not necessarily a bad thing. So you just have to wait and see. The Poppy War, R.F. Kuang. So those are the 5 books I read in April. Now for May, what do I have planned? Well, first of all, I'm going to be continuing the Poppy War trilogy with The Dragon Republic and The Burning God. Now, these books I was supposed to get to in April, but set a bit of a too ambitious TBR. I'm thinking 5 books a month is like the sweet spot for me. Any more is really pushing it. 5 I can get through at a decent pace and still, you know, enjoy reading. So, but anyways, yeah, first 2 books, The Dragon Republic and The Burning God. As for the 3rd book, I will be reading Towers of Midnight. Is that right? Book 13 in the Wheel of Time. I think it's called The Towers of Midnight. Yeah, this is a chonker. I got the hardback, so it looks a little intimidating. I'm giving myself extra time for it. Book 12 was amazing. I really loved it. Like I said, part of the reason for that was because my least favorite characters were basically omitted from that book. And this is part of the reason why I'm a little apprehensive going into this book, because usually for a Wheel of Time book, if certain characters are left out of previous book, you can expect to see them in the next book. And look, we're almost done this series. Like, it's getting really exciting here. I'm sure Brandon Sanderson will not do a terrible job of making these characters boring. All I know is that if Perrin is doing nothing but walking around his campsite from one end to the other and just brooding, I'm gonna lose it. I'm literally gonna toss this book. And if Elaine is doing nothing but just whining and talking crap about every single person she interacts with, again, I'm going to toss this book. But no, not actually. I don't want to have to do any drywall work. So anyways, that's book 4. Book 4? Book 1, 2, 3. That's book 3. Book 4 will be Renia by Carl Forshaw. This is a self-pub book. The author actually reached out to me asking if I could review his book. He mentioned that he was a metalhead, which is a very sneaky way of giving me a very good first impression of you. It sounded interesting. I looked up the synopsis of the book. It sounded very intriguing, something that I'd want to get into, so I accepted, and I will be reading that for the fourth book in May. As for the fifth book, I'm kind of keeping that open for now, seeing if I, have time. If I do, I might squeeze another Discworld book in there, because I really want to get back to that series. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, that's it. That's it for my May TBR. Let me know what you think, if you've read any of these books, if you're looking forward to my thoughts on any of them. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing a lot more reviews, getting into a lot more grimdark mainly. That's the genre that I enjoy the most, and just wrapping up the Wheel of Time, and starting other series. So stay tuned to find all that out. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, and I will see you next time.